What's going on, guys? So with me posting my video yesterday about Isa Gonzalez being the possible future Catwoman in the DCEU, I thought it was the perfect time for me to make my Flashpoint video. And I think some people might be thinking like there's no correlation there, but there is, because I got a comment yesterday with somebody saying that Isa Gonzalez is too young for Ben Affleck's Batman, and I disagree with that for two reasons. One, freaking ladies have just mastered the art of just defying age, because I have met ladies in their teens that make themselves look like they're in their 20s, and I've seen ladies that are in their 40s that look like they're in their 20s. And if you don't believe that, I use this example all the time, but I still cannot believe that Catherine Winnick is 39 and I legit thought she was in her 20s. When I found out she was in her 30s, I was just like, what? Because she's freaking gorgeous, and I just cannot believe it. And she should be Black Canary in the DCEU, since we're talking about the DCEU. But also, so Isa being whatever younger, as this person said, for Ben Affleck's Batman, I don't believe it, because I feel like you can age up or down women with magic. Also, to that point, this is Catwoman. She uses sexiness as a weapon, and I'm pretty sure she would keep up with the beauty products to look as good as long as she could. So I don't think that's an issue. But the second thing that ties into the whole Flashpoint movie is Isa's age wouldn't be a problem if Flashpoint is going to be the movie that they recast Ben Affleck. That is right, I am going there. I know a lot of people want to be like, get away from the whole Ben Affleck not being Batman thing. If we don't talk about it, it won't happen. That's not how life works, and I honestly think until we hear that he signs a new contract to be in the freaking Batman trilogy, I don't think it's gonna happen. I have a strong opinion that he's going to actually not be in this after Justice League. And that was the first thing I automatically thought about when they announced that Flashpoint was going to be the first Flash movie, and that just, to me, seems a little too early, and I know a lot of other people out there feel it's a little too early for this too, because you kind of got to introduce Barry Allen, and I know a lot of people might feel like, oh, maybe it's not a big issue because they're assuming a lot of people watch the Flash TV show, so you kind of already know about Barry's like origin and everything that's going on, so you can just do a Flashpoint movie immediately, and people will kind of get what's happening in the whole thing. I see that logic, but I kind of feel like it's kind of like a BVS thing. You know, I absolutely loved BVS, but it's because I was able to plug in all the little holes that that movie had, but people that didn't know anything about Batman prior to watching that movie, they're probably like, this movie was all over the place, I don't get why he's doing this, blah, 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 because they're not able to fill in the holes. So I feel like that same situation would happen in Flashpoint if you don't talk about Barry Allen and everything that's happening in his life prior to having him make that decision to change the fucking path. Before we jump into the possible Batman recasting with this movie, I do want to talk about a few other things that are swarming around this movie. One, still doesn't have a director. Like we're talking about, they're trying to set a date for this movie, and they're making it Flashpoint now, which is one of their biggest events in DC Comics. Still don't have a director, which kind of blows my mind that they're trying to set a date right now. And I'm just like, you failed at this before, DC. Like, just put it to the side until you got a solidified director and let that director know if he wants to make fucking Flashpoint. Next up is there's a rumor that Wonder Woman will be in Flashpoint. Look, if Wonder Woman, Mira, Aquaman, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's Batman, and Ezra Miller and Reverse Flash are not in this movie is gonna blow, okay? We saw what happens when you don't do the actual storyline in the TV show. It's just shit. Like, it's not even worth watching if you're not gonna have those 6 characters in this movie. You can argue about Cyborg, Superman and all that jazz. You can do that too. Like, those are small cameos though. I don't think you need to have it. Basically, Flashpoint's gonna be like a Justice League 1.5 or 2.0 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be a mini Justice League movie. That's just how it's gonna go. A lot of people are saying that Flashpoint will be, you know, Marvel's Civil War. Yeah, if you want to compare it to the Civil War of the MCU, you can totally do that, because it's basically what it's gonna be. But the only way you can do Flashpoint right is by doing Flashpoint like the comic books. Do you need to follow it completely? No, but you need to have those main story elements of the Amazons fighting the Atlanteans and all of that bullshit, because that's what I want to see in this movie. Now, not to be a total negative Nancy, I think the way this movie could work is that you actually, I guess they could kind of do like an origin story for the first 20 minutes, but if they're trying to keep this movie under 2 hours or around 2 hours, it's going to be really hard to fit a lot of Flashpoint in 2 hours. That's why I think you got to introduce Flash sooner, unless he has a big part in Justice League, or they're going to do another movie where they're going to kind of tell a little bit more of his story. I just don't see how they're going to be able to do the story fully without just feeling like it's too much at one time. And that's the one thing I'm worried about, because I was super excited about Flashpoint, but I thought we wouldn't get Flashpoint until the sequel or the trilogy of The Flash, because I thought that would have been the perfect time. Because like a lot of people are saying with Flashpoint and what we're about to get into with the Batman thing, is I think if you would have went 3 movies with Ezra Miller as Flash, and you wanted to kind of change things up, kind of like how Marvel's about to do with Infinity War, Flashpoint would have been your perfect timing to actually change something, because that way you can go ahead and have things make sense, because Barry would have changed the timeline, changing other characters in case you needed to, you know, recast, if you know what I'm saying. Smooth segue, right? But anyways, I think Flashpoint is going to be the movie to actually have the recast of Ben Affleck. And I know a lot of people might not like that, or might not, you know, agree with that, but I just feel like that, I don't get why you would do that. Why would you do this movie so early if not to take care of some problems? And I've seen this mentioned on websites and in other videos. A lot of people feel that Flashpoint is the actual, like, you can go ahead and retcon a lot of things with this movie. And what I mean by that is all the movies they made in the past would still live in the past. Like, you saw them, they were part of the continuity, but then you do Flashpoint, and anything you do, anything that you did prior to Flashpoint doesn't really matter. It happened, but with the timeline change, it's in a different universe, or you know what I mean, it's in a different timeline, so it doesn't matter. So, technically, Flashpoint could take care of a lot of the problems that people complained about in the DCEU. For one, it could take back all of the killing Batman did. Now, personally, had no issue with it because I know the source material that it was coming from. But Flashpoint could actually make Batman never kill at all. Like, oh yeah, that never happened. BVS did not happen. Let's just wipe that from existence because we're in a new timeline now. So Batman could essentially go back to the Batman that he's always been and had never been, you know, had never killed anybody before. Flashpoint could do that. Number 2, Flashpoint can make Bruce younger, or could basically just recast him into a younger guy, and it could just, he could be along the age of everybody else in the cast, and it wouldn't be a big deal. Would it be weird? Yes, it would totally be weird, and it's gonna be weird if they just recast Batman, but I just don't see the DCEU continuing without Bruce Wayne. So their get-out-of-jail-free card would be Flashpoint to go ahead and retcon some of these things that they don't like that Zack Snyder did with Batman, although some of us actually did enjoy it. They want to go back to kind of going back to the core of their characters. They don't want a mopey Superman. They want that bright Boy Scout Superman. They don't want the killing Batman. They want the Batman that has his one rule. Those kind of things, they want that to continue in this universe. Also, casting that younger Batman will help out their Batman trilogy if, you know, say Matt Reeves doesn't want to continue with Ben Affleck, or Ben Affleck doesn't want to continue himself. Whatever their case is, we don't know the behind-the-scenes stuff. Yes, tomorrow Ben Affleck could sign a new contract to be in the Batman trilogy. But as of right now, that is not happening, and it's just going to be all speculation. But I don't know, man. Until I see a contract signed, I am going to believe that Justice League will be Ben Affleck's last Batman outing. Also, number 3, Flashpoint can actually progress the storyline of the Justice League if it wants to, right? So, like, Justice League is going to be all about the team forming together. And what if Justice League 2, they wanted to have the Watchtower already, the Hall of Justice, although the Hall of Justice might actually happen in Justice League. But, you know, what if they wanted all of that kind of stuff, but they don't have the movies to actually make that happen? Flashpoint can do that. Barry Allen would come back. He'd probably have his scene with Batman where he gives Batman the note of his father. But Batman could also talk about how they've made a lot of changes to the Watchtower and all this other stuff, and Barry would be like, oh yeah, that's cool, man, awesome. And he just would be kind of playing dumb about all this stuff happening. So it'd be kind of cool that they kind of, like, you know, push that stuff to the forefront, and we could have the Watchtower in Justice League 2, the Hall of Justice be really developed, maybe other, like, Teen Titans and stuff like that. Like, Flashpoint does have awesome opportunities to expand the DC universe because he would be changing a timeline. When you do that, new things pop up and other things disappear. So, I don't know. I feel like Flashpoint is being made this early to correct a lot of stuff, and it's unfortunate that they're going to do that, But, you know, if it's going to continue making awesome movies in the DCEU, I'm totally for it. I think it's a little early, but do not be surprised if Flashpoint is the movie that will change Ben Affleck to whoever is going to continue playing Batman. Anyways, guys and gals, let me know what you thought of this video in the comment sections down below. Don't forget, if you ever want to support this channel, you can check out the Patreon like these awesome people did, or you can do the OG thing and give this video a like and share with all of your Flash buddies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things nerdy and geeky on this channel. As always, I am your host, JUICEbox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself something. Have I had a daily dose of juice? See you guys next time. Bye!